You have never thought of yourself as evil, not once. And that is exactly what makes this so terrifying. Because the people who did the most monstrous things in history thought the same thing. This is the Lucifer effect. In 1971, Philip Zimbardo took 24 ordinary college students, all screened for mental health and stability, and split them in two. Half became guards, half became prisoners. In the basement of Stanford University, he built a fake prison and told them to play their roles. The experiment was supposed to last 2 weeks. It lasted 6 days. By day 2, the guards were waking prisoners at 2 in the morning for pointless counts, or forcing push-ups, using humiliation as a tool. Nobody told them to do any of this. The role did it, the uniform did it, the system did it. Zimbardo himself got absorbed. He took on the role of superintendent and stopped seeing what was happening. It took an outsider walking in and asking, "Do you realize what you are doing to these people?" to end it. He called this the Lucifer effect, the transformation of good people into perpetrators, not through corruption of character, but through corruption of context. Lucifer was not always a demon. He was the brightest angel. He fell not because he was secretly evil, but because of what he was placed inside. Stanley Milgram proved the same thing in 1963. He brought ordinary Americans into a lab and told them to administer electric shocks to a stranger for every wrong answer, starting at 15 volts and climbing to 450, labeled simply XXX. The stranger was an actor. The shocks were fake. But the teachers did not know that. 65% delivered the full 450 volts to a silent, possibly unconscious person, because a calm researcher in a white coat said, "The experiment requires that you continue," not because they were monsters, because the structure of the situation made stopping feel abnormal. Hannah Arendt watched Adolf Eichmann on trial in 1961 and expected a demon. She found a small, boring bureaucrat who genuinely believed he was just following orders. She called it the banality of evil, not demonic, administrative. And here's where this stops being history and starts being about your life. You have been inside systems too. A workplace where everyone laughed at the person who raised concerns. A group chat where cruelty escalated and you said nothing. A moment where something wrong happened and you told yourself it was not your place. The Lucifer effect does not just explain war crimes. It explains the slow drift in ordinary life. Zimbardo spent decades studying not just how people fall, but how some resist. What separated the 35% who stopped in Milgram's lab from the 65% who kept going was almost always one thing. A single moment of asking a question out loud. Why are we doing this? One act of naming what was happening. The refusal to let the role become the self. The most dangerous moment is not when someone tells you to do something terrible. It is the moment before. When you stop asking whether what you are doing is right. When you let the system think for you. The brightest angel did not fall all at once. He drifted, role by role, justification by justification, until the distance between who he was and what he was doing was too large to see. Tonight, when you scroll past something wrong or stay silent when something should be said, the question is not whether you are a good person. You already know you are. The question is whether you are watching the system, or whether the system has already started watching you, because you have never thought of yourself as evil, and neither did any of them.